Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of News in Motion. Yesterday was our return episode after a month-long break and a new episode into the new year, but we are here and we are back better than ever. If you enjoyed our first episode back from our break, let us know in the chat what you took away from it. What was the most important segment of the day for you? But today is Tuesday, January 9th. 2024. Wow, we are in 2024 and this is really happening. This is only the second week of the new year, but I feel like time is already flying by. Whether you are tuning in through Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, or if you're an audio or podcast listener, we just want to say thank you for turning those dials to NIM Today, your news media outlet for relevant commentary and call to action. I see you, Miss Marion Jackson, tuning in through YouTube, and also Miss Adrian tuning in through YouTube. The YouTube community be in there early. It could be 7 o'clock. We don't go live until 7:25. They will be in there early, done typing away, ready in the premiere chat. They were going to be ready. Shout out to the YouTube community and our YouTube viewers. Good morning, Miss Rosanna Bivens. Good morning to you tuning in through Facebook. Good morning, Miss Shardinia tuning in through YouTube. And good morning, Miss Deborah Johnson tuning in through Facebook as well. So be sure to invite a friend. Let them know that you are tuning in through News in Motion. And without further delay, y'all know what we do here. Let's get ready for some News in Motion.
Motion.
Good morning to everyone. I just saw Lori pop in here as well as Judy Neal. Good morning to the two of you. I know Isaiah grabbed everyone else, so that's Adrian and Marion and Rosanna and Shardinia and Deborah. And I see you, Pastor Alex Williams, coming in here as well. Y'all must be some praying people. I just want y'all to keep on praying. Yesterday, I felt amazing after this show. After I got that cough under control, I said, oh, the community's praying, so let me give them a shout out this morning. Y'all, I'm really waiting for Kim Edmondson to pop in here because she already has her Facebook post up that says, who beat us this year? And then she has hashtag nobody, hashtag go blue. Then she goes, hashtag 2024 champions. And there she is, Kim Edmondson, just talking about you, girl. So y'all, if y'all go to her Facebook page, she is blowing it up. And she wants everybody to know that 0 people beat them this year. So we do have to say congratulations. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying that. To Michigan Wolverines for, I guess it's 14-0 year. So I said, y'all were struggling there just for a little bit. And I had to turn it off. I was like, man, I don't want to see them win. But you all won. And I just want to say thank you. Again, y'all, if I bust out in a cough, is because I can't even control it. But again, thank you all for praying because after the show, I felt pretty good. I said, okay, maybe I'm back. And then, of course, I got a cough back this morning, but it's okay. Y'all, believe it or not, there's a lot that's going on, and that's happening Tuesday. So we're going to break down some things today. So you may want to grab your pen, paper. Remember, this is the year of the election, and it's going to be a very intense election. And it's our job to bring you a lot of information. For those of you who went out and posted on your social media, encouraging people to register to vote. Thank you. We have to keep this up, y'all. We have to keep this up. There's a lot of people not registered. I had people writing to me yesterday saying, thank you for this. I checked my voter registration. I did see an error. I have sent in a correction. I had other people saying, thank you for always being on the case with this. I was able to register my son. He got out there on the internet and got registered. He had been talking about it for years, so we were able to do that. So people, when they see that, it brings it back to their remembrance. Y'all, today is National Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. So make sure you are appreciating your law enforcement officers, because without them, we don't know what could really be happening today. I'm just looking to see what I'm missing. All right, y'all. So again, today is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. I am your host, Gail Dudley. Welcome all the new people that are rolling up in here. And for that, also received these questions. Hey, didn't know you exist. Glad to see you're out here. Is this going to be your beat? Yeah, it pretty much is our beat. And then can you tell me a little bit more about News in Motion? Isaiah's going to put up an image. And this image gives you a little bit about who we are. News in Motion is on the mornings at 7:25 a.m. And again, y'all, that's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Friday, we don't come on at all. Monday will be reserved if there's something breaking or something we need to bring to your attention. You can email News in Motion with questions, and that's newsinmotionwithgail@gmail.com. We talk a lot about, and we're going heavy on plan your vote and the engagement. Social media, we have 90-second reels on our Instagram as well as our TikTok and YouTube. And then political in-class sessions, and then our community. And then we also have a library of all past broadcasts. They're out there. You just have to go and look at them. Y'all, News in Motion operates as an aggregated, not satire media platform dedicated to fostering citizen engagement in civic life by delivering headline news, voter education, and encouraging voter participation, y'all. It serves as a catalyst for action with an uplifting message. We aim to instill a sense of empowerment and motivation. Y'all, this grassroots movement seeks to inspire individuals through informative and engaging content, encouraging them to take meaningful action to their communities and to contribute to positive change. Someone also asked, it was a teacher actually, do you take this on the road? Yes, we do. We are, let's say, relaunching our Ready Action Circles. Ready Action Circles came out of Ready Media Ready publication. And in October of 2019, I believe, we went out there, maybe it was 19. Maybe it was 17. I don't know. We went out there and we went all around the U.S., really educating on civic engagement. So we want to bring that back as well. So thanks for all those questions. So that's who we are. All right, y'all, that's happening Tuesday. Here we're going to be connecting to what we, the people, must pay attention to. So on yesterday, President Biden was on the campaign trail. Can you believe it's already? And he spoke at Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, while he was speaking at this historic Black church on Monday, he accused Republicans of mischaracterizing the experience of Black people in America. And he also really he was pushing out racial equity, saying instead of erasing history, we must be making history. And he was talking about his administration is making history. Now, y'all, the Washington Post reports that he framed recent actions by GOP leaders as part of a long pattern of fighting progress. He says, and I quote, "Every stride forward has often been met with backlashes from those who fear the progress, from those who exploit that fear for their own personal gain, and those who traffic in lies told for profit and power." Now, y'all, this came from President Biden. Now, I got a clip of, I don't have it on here, but I want you to go to my Instagram, which is at Gail Dudley. It's in the story. And if it's already gone, I think it's still up there. It'll be up there probably until about noon. That if not, go to the view, to their Instagram, look for Sunny's reel, and then hear words from Sunny. So I went and got her transcript from that. And Sunny broke down what's really going on. And she mentioned the fact that the GOP is playing a long game. They're playing a long game, and they are. And she was talking about, we have to share the truth. And she called out dismantling institutions, which is happening. She called out how people who don't look like them are now targeting the elite colleges and universities. And she mentioned how Congress attended the Harvard, okay? And what's happening, that she talked about affirmative action and how it's being or how it has been dismantled. She talked about power over women, how Congress is trying to take power over over women in our bodies. She talked about the languages being taken away from school, and she talked about dumbing down our electorate. So that's pretty much where she was. So I went through and pulled out information from the transcript of President Biden. And I want to walk us through it today. And I'm telling you, pay attention. I was like, woo, this is deep. And I have fact checked everything. I have fact checked everything. And it took me an entire day to pull all this together. So I hope you really glean from what I'm about to share with you. Good AM to you, Dr. Antoinette. The other thing that Sunny pulled out, and this is Sunny Hostin from The View, she said that she believes they are setting up the grievance politics and cultural wars specific. And she said this is being done not by accident. And I want to validate what she has said. So I went through, this is his complete speech from yesterday at Mother Emanuel. And I'm going to get to a certain section again. Y'all want to take some notes here, okay? He mentioned Juneteenth, and the first federal holiday since Martin Luther King Jr. So he started. That's where I'm going to start today. So y'all, that's happening Tuesday. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Please pay attention. Um, and so he says, and I'm gonna read this part here. He says, we all do well if every race and background in small towns and big cities is doing better. Good morning. When our freedoms are protected and we deny hate as a safe harbor where everyone has a fair shot at the life of dignity and opportunity, and where our democracy works for everybody. He goes on to say, and this is President Biden, that benefits everybody. He said, everybody does better, even those folks who disagree with us. I went through every area where I could connect the dots and will say this is a true statement. No one is left out when it comes to the infrastructure bill. No one is left out when it comes to student loan and student debt forgiveness. Everyone is a part of the healthcare system. Everyone's a part of the educational system. No matter where I looked on all of the bills that we put together, no one's left out of this. No one's left out if we really do this. Good morning, good morning, good morning. So I have a question because President Biden said instead of erasing history, we're making history. So the question is this that I have: what's the point, and who does it profit to erase history? And I bring this question up this morning on News in Motion because that's how we need to be voting. That's how we need to be voting for our school board leaders. That's how we need to be voting for our local government. That's how we need to be voting for our townships. That's how we need to be voting for the sheriff. That's how we need to be voting for commissioners. That's how we need to be voting for the federal government. We need to be answering that question or asking that question, whichever view you want to look at. So what's the point, and who does it profit to erase history? And why is it necessary to attempt to erase history? Because as long as we're still here, you can't erase anybody. I don't care what sector or what demographic you're in, you can't erase it. You cannot erase it. This is happening, y'all. This is happening. This is happening. So another true point is he said, I said we invest in America. He did. I went through so many speeches during his campaign before the 2020 election. And he said that over and over and over and over again. I stopped counting at about 500, okay? And I was just doing the little candlesticks where you mark them out. He goes on to say over 14 million new jobs. I fact checked that. It is true. He said record economic growth. Truth. Y'all just look at the stock market alone. The lowest inflation rate of any major economy in the world. True. And he says we have more to do. So that was the jobs portion. Y'all, this is happening. This is happening. Unemployment. And he was speaking specifically because he was at Mother Emanuel AME Church. So he was specifically speaking to African American people, the Black people. But when you look at the actual record, it's huge. Deborah Johnson says, great question. Who profits when we erase history? We have to ponder this for every election. Absolutely. In unemployment, he says, we have the lowest Black unemployment rate recorded in a long, long time. More Black Americans have health insurance than ever. So I fact checked that. True, true, true. Who was before that was Barack Obama, and who was before that was Bill Clinton. That's the truth. So I looked back as far as I could, and I looked at both the Republican side as well as the Democrat side, as well as the independent side. No matter where you look, and why it falls out this way, I have no idea. I'm just giving you the information. No matter where you look, anytime there is a Democrat, a president who's a Democrat, they are the ones where you see the lower unemployment in Black America. We have to raise the question, why is that so? What is it, and why does that make a difference? And how then do we partner across the aisle so that we have low unemployment continuously? Kim Edmondson says, unfortunately, Black people are turning him out. We must speak louder. Yes, and that is happening. And I will go back to something I've said here on News and Motion over and over and over again: the messaging. Because if you just listen to him, let's be honest, sometimes you just turn him off. Like, okay, I've heard this. It's the same old, same old. That's why I went and got the transcript, because I wanted to see every word. And when I started looking at this, I was like, there's so many messages in here that y'all can be making commercials. You can be on social media. You can have roundtable discussions. You can have town hall meetings to get this message out here, because this is happening. This is happening. Dr. Antoinette says, who benefits? Those who have profited from oppression. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Um, so they gave you unemployment. So let me keep going. So insulin. People don't realize this, but y'all, this is true. Instead of an average of $400 a month for insulin for seniors with diabetes, they're now paying $35 a month. Yeah. And it costs about $10 to make. So they're still making a $25 profit. Okay. And I know it's a business. I know it's a business, but we have to be concerned. And again, let's have people over profit, not profit over people. That's another thing that we should be thinking about. Then in Medicare, he says we're going to go back and make sure Medicare can negotiate prices for everybody, not just seniors. And that's for everybody who needs these benefits. That's for everybody. Then the wealth gap. He talked about Black wealth. And I want to dig into that a little bit. Hope y'all following along. The racial wealth gap is the smallest it's been in 20 years under his watch. Kind of like through shade at Barack Obama, but okay, I'll let it slide, because what he said is true. He said more Black businesses are starting up than in decades in the ultimate act. Opening a new business is the ultimate act of hope. And he talked about how many of those businesses are surviving, not closing up shop. There's a difference. And then he goes on to talk about housing, and he says we are taking on housing discrimination in many ways. That's a fact. That's true. He said home. He's and this was his quote. So a home owned by today, a home owned by. Remember, this is a transcript, so it's how he's. So I'm reading it just how he said it. How they grabbed it. So a home owned by today, a home owned by a Black family on one side of the highway, built by the same builder. I looked it up, y'all. It's true. On the other side of the highway, and a white guy living in it. The white guy's home is valued more than the Black guy's. Pay attention. Pay attention, which also says, as activists and as advocates, we need to be looking at these banks and doing the research. Where do you bank? This really had me thinking about this, because I pulled them up. Where do you bank? Where's your mortgage? What's your percentage rate? and compare that with others in your same cul-de-sac or on the same street or a block over, and really do the evaluation there. HBCUs. He says making historic investments in HBCUs, $7 billion, y'all. $7 billion. Student loan debt. Student loan debt, y'all. 132 billion, 3.6 million people. Now that's what's happening right now through the SAVE plan. Now, this administration found a way, and I'm like, this is a message I need to put out there. Although there were people who blocked it, people who took it to the Supreme Court ruled in the people's favor who was trying to block it. This administration found a workaround to still say, we're going to still figure this out. So it may not be the exact promise that he promised on the campaign trail, but he did. This administration is finding a way to work this around. Okay, now I'm not telling y'all who to vote for, I'm just giving y'all facts. So I want you to pay attention even to this. And then we have lead pipes. Infrastructure bill, y'all, infrastructure bill. They had a goal of replacing, they have a goal of replacing every lead pipe in America. And they said every single lead pipe in America is going to be taken out and replaced. He says, why? He says, because in mostly poor neighborhoods, that's where those lead pipes are. That's a true statement. And they have begun taking them out. Speaking of that, side note, what about the apartments where the people were still in them and people got boarded up while they were still inside? I think it was in Harvey. Like, really? We do that? We do that? 92-year-old woman, a woman with two children, a 73-year-old man boarded up in apartments. We do that because of a stairwell in another apartment. Now, they said that the apartments need to come down or fixed or whatever, but y'all board up people? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave that there. Internet. He says delivering high-speed internet that's affordable to everybody so that people don't have to sit in the McDonald's parking lot or Starbucks parking lot or the library parking lot and steal the internet. Yeah, all of that's true. Clean energy, producing clean energy so you can finally breathe clean air. He talked about that. He talked about childcare, that there's still more to do. He says making childcare and elder care more affordable. And then he also talked about justice. I want y'all to pay attention to this because I never really saw how this fell out. I now know, so I'm going to share with you. He said he signed the most significant police reform executive order in history. We didn't get the law passed through Congress, but he did it by an executive order, which is a significant part of it. But now he's calling on Congress to finish the other piece of it. And he's asked the question, why aren't they signing that? Great question. The same questions we need to be asking. He talked about to have a ban on assault weapons. And then he also talked about more Black women being appointed to the federal circuit court than any other president in American history has appointed. And he was talking and piggybacking on Representative Jim Clyburn's message. So, y'all, that's an overall of what I pulled out from the speech on yesterday. But I have more questions. Okay, so we're talking about that today. But what are we doing to get the message out? And what are we doing? And how are we going to hold Congress accountable in the Senate? And that's both the House and the Senate. How do we hold them accountable in making sure these things are completed? What do we need to look for, and what questions should we be asking when we are attending town hall meetings? Because it's going to make a difference, y'all. It's going to make a difference. So, while they were there, he was making a speech. You had protesters, Palestinian protesters chanting, "Ceasefire now." And Biden just said, let him talk. And so then he spoke to that. And I think it's so important that we pay attention to that. He said, yes, he said the UN is calling for a ceasefire. And from what he could tell, Prime Minister Netanyahu is backing off of some of their extensive battling that they're doing. He says, but what we need to understand and understand our history is what I can really do as a president of the United States when I'm not the president or the prime minister in that country. He talked about the UN Council. He talked about the advisors. He talked about the conversations. And I think sometimes we miss what's happening. We all want that to be a ceasefire there and in Ukraine and Russia. We want there to be a ceasefire wherever else there are wars going on. But we also have to understand how you put all this together. But we can come back with, well, how much money are we pouring over into these countries? That's important. That's happening. And we need to be having those discussions. So this is quiz time. This is quiz time because I want to know if y'all remember what HJ res means and SJ res. I want to know if y'all can tell me what that is, because right now in the Library of Congress and in Congress, there are a lot of HJ res and R SJ res on the table. And these resolutions on the table, I just told y'all what one of the words stood for. Res stands for resolution. The resolutions that are on the table can make and break America. They really can. For example, there's a resolution on the table right now about wage and work and where you can work and how you can work if you already have a job. Y'all, I know there's a bank. I know there's a bank that they tell their employees you can't work anywhere else. Well, what if I cannot make ends meet? So the Biden administration is saying if people can work, let them work. If they can factor in a job, a full-time job and a part-time job or two part-time jobs to help them control their home, let that happen. Deborah says House and Senate joint resolutions. There it is. There it is. Right there. There it is. So there's that. So you have to pay attention. And y'all, we're going to be bringing these resolutions here on News in Motion regularly because we want you to know what's out there on the table and what we need to do and who is passing these resolutions and how they're voting. We want to bring this to all of you. Um, Marion Jackson says, my student loan was forgiven in 2023. Congratulations to you for that. Congratulations. Davia says, good morning, Davia. House joint resolution. Yes, you're right. You're right. You're right. Now, y'all, the reason I want to highlight those things, because when you're seeing some of this on the ballot, you should know what the heck you're reading. And while you're reading it that way, you should also go to the website and pull it up. Y'all, congress.gov has a lot of information out there. I'm doing the work on my end, but I'm also pleading with you to do the work on your end as well. Look at these resolutions. If you don't understand it, ask questions. That's why we're going to have Town Hall Thursdays here on News in Motion starting this Thursday. Y'all must have been really praying because I'm really getting through this without coughing. All right, y'all, the air current reporting. United Airlines has found loose bolts and other parts on 737 MAX 9 plug doors on the doors, y'all. And its inspection of its fleet of Boeing jets following the Friday depressurization aboard the Alaskan airline jet. No, it didn't just depressurize, it came off. Anyway, so they started looking at all these things. But y'all, we're talking an actual bolt on the door. Like, seriously. Y'all, come on, I'm gonna bring it this way. Not long ago in my kitchen, one of the cabinets, the bolt was loosened and it started like hanging. And I know how to fix it, so I fixed it. Now that's my kitchen cabinet. You up in the air flying and a bolt starts coming off the door or the window. Like, really? This is what we're doing? So pay attention. Yeah, and I find this really interesting because this is also, I'm getting this from Lexi, y'all. This is also National Shop for Travel Day. That always happens on the second Tuesday of January. And in my understanding, y'all can get some serious deals right now if you want to travel. It's been happening, I guess, for 20 years. They discount things that are out there in the travel world. So I wanted to share that with you as well. Before we get out of here, y'all, Zillow is reporting. Now, listen, Ohio, y'all should be real excited. I said that, babe, we can't put our house on the market, okay? Y'all, listen, Zillow's reporting that the top 10 housing markets of 2024 Buffalo, New York is number one. Cincinnati, Ohio is number two. Hello, Columbus. They're number three. I was like, oh, it's getting ready to go down. Indianapolis, Indiana is number four. Providence, Rhode Island is number five. Atlanta, Georgia, number six. Charlotte, North Carolina, seven. Cleveland, Ohio, number eight. Y'all, so the three main in Ohio. Boom, boom, boom. They're up there. Orlando, Florida, number nine, and number 10, Tampa, Florida. They were talking about when it comes to Columbus, Ohio, the Intel, the Google, and the Amazon, and how people are starting to flood into into Central Ohio, and how we're going to see a shift in that housing market because houses are in demand. They can't even build them fast enough. So I just kind of like said, well, babe, we do this because I'm like, hello. I said, where we going? Because if houses are in demand, there's nothing available. So what we gonna do? So that's just interesting. But y'all, there are signs that the housing market will improve in 2024. This is from USA Today. Mortgage rates dropped steadily over the past 7 weeks, averaging 6.61%. I still think that's still high for a 30-year fixed mortgage. The week ending December 28th, y'all, the lower mortgage rate provided a boost to existing home sales, which grew in November up from 0.8% from October and breaking a streak of five consecutive monthly declines, according to the National Association of Realtors. Um, and they said, however, one thing most experts don't expect to see is an end to the shortage of homes for sale. So that's happening. I see you, Latrice Jones. What's up? Lori Wallace says, I believe it. We were offered four times what we paid for it. However, we can find the right house. We can't find the right house to move. It's like crazy. And if you go out there, if you go, y'all listen to Pastor Alex Williams. He says, talk to me before you consider Florida. So y'all, let's talk to him before we consider Florida. Okay, that's not a place I ever think I want to move to. It's like amazing weather, but okay. But y'all talk to him. So he put it out there. If you have questions about moving to Florida, make sure you reach out to him, please. And then Latrice Jones says our taxes have already gone up. Y'all, there's a lot that's going on. You just have to pay attention. This also comes back to our voting stance. Did y'all know that? It does. All right, y'all. With sad news, um, and I saw this and I actually cried. I did. On Tyler Perry's post yesterday on Instagram, he says, I am so heartbroken to hear about the passing of this warrior, Miss Josephine Wright. If y'all remember her, she was the one who was telling the developers, y'all not taking my land. Y'all not pushing back my sidewalk. This belongs to me. This has been in my family for years, and y'all not about to take it. She was fighting this fight on her own. I believe she was 92 years old, 94 years old, something like that. She was in her 90s. She had this fight. Y'all, Tyler Perry had planned to take the keys to her new home on her land next week, and she passed away. But he said he's still looking forward to taking the keys to the children because it's still in her family, it's still their land, and I'm putting it out there. Y'all, listen, if she did it in her 90s, we can demand change in our 30s, 40s, 50s. Well, I got to go back to 20s. We got some 20-year-olds that tune in, and even high schoolers that tune in. Y'all, this woman right here should empower us to keep going, regardless of what's going on. So I just want to tell her family, first of all, our condolences to you all, as well as we're here. You know, letting news, y'all need some food. We good with finding y'all some food. We good with food insecurity. Not that y'all even having a problem with that. But whatever action or civic engagement you are a part of, if News in Motion can come alongside of you all, we want to do that. We want to do that. Yes, Latrice Jones, we have to keep our lane. I was in a conversation, and we're getting out here in a minute. After I did the inspirational message, I was in a conversation not long ago where I think it was with Kenny Stanley, where the area where we grew up and went to high school. And I said, man, these homes over here now are going for $1 million. What can we do, and how can we get into some of the homes, maybe even the surrounding areas, to get a hold of, so that we're in control of some of this, so it doesn't completely change over. But what do we need to do? How can we be a part of this? And I want to say a hats off to Kim Edmondson. I think this was 2 years ago when we went on this journey, many of us News in Motion people, to become debt free. Y'all, Kim Edmondson, I'm gonna blame her. I'm gonna just blame her. Kim Edmondson got me into investing, And she was talking like, look, Gail, just invest in some ETFs, some regular stocks. No, y'all, I went all the way to option trading. Like, no, Kim, let's go all the way in. Y'all, listen, we don't know what we missing. And talking about that, going back to the banks that I was sharing with you all earlier, because so many Black people are getting wind of how to get into trading, they're now even increasing, the banks are, and the investment firms are increasing the level you have to put in your account before you can start trading. Y'all pay attention. Why are y'all moving the marker now that we know we in there? In the beginning, you had a $500 that you needed to have in your account. Now you're taking it up to $25,000. Where did that jump come from? Where did $20,000 come from? And why? Why do we scare you? Let's talk about that. So here's my inspirational message for today, which feeds into all of this. Dress the part. Dress the part. I have, again, on my Instagram, a story from a friend of mine. She was talking about her husband's message, and she gave the testimony of when they had a gift certificate and they were staying at a hotel and they were going to one of the finest restaurants, and she had on a dress and some sandals, and he had on some decent shorts or whatever, but they couldn't seat them. And they were first going to have an attitude. And they said, nope. And since they lived close by the hotel, they went home and got dressed up. I mean, they got dressed up and they went back and they had a beautiful time. And she said, she goes, sometimes you just have to dress the part. So that's number one. Number two, y'all know, back in doing the Draw the Circle, the 40-day prayer challenge. And in that, which was the same day, which blew me away, Mark Batterson was talking about dress for the miracle. And he says, why not dress for the miracle? He said, act as if God is going to answer yours, ours prayers. He said, pray and then take a step of faith. He said, sometimes we pray, but we're not dressed for what's about to come. And when I looked at those two things, I said, y'all, we got to start dressing the part. I love me some jeans, but I can still dress the part with my jeans on. When I'm going someplace, I can still dress the part. Sometimes we get so comfortable. Y'all, I've been really slowly coming out of my leggings, okay? 2020 was legging season. They're so comfortable. They're so easy. I'm like, I'm going to get dressed up. So y'all, last Sunday, this was before I even read this. Last Sunday, I had gone to my parents' house. I'm very careful. I'm still sick. I had my mask on, all that. But I hadn't seen them because I've been trying to protect them from whatever it is that I have. And I don't know why, I just got dressed up. And it was a Sunday, should be in somebody's church, but I wasn't, okay? I just watched TD Jakes or whomever online, our friends, Harry White or Reginald Thomas. I just watch them online. But anyway, I went to the house and my mom said, oh, you coming from church? I said, no, I just felt like getting dressed today. She said, well, you sure are dressed up. She said, you got me excited. And I thought about that when I was reading this yesterday. And I said, wow, my mom got excited because she thought I was headed somewhere, going somewhere, coming from somewhere. And I said, I hadn't seen her that perked up in a long time. So dress the part, y'all. I think it changes the atmosphere. It changes the attitude. It changes the mood. Y'all, dress the part. Get ready for the miracle. Latrice, you still on here. Get ready for the miracle. Dress the part. Dress like you're getting ready to do it. Now, I'm not talking name it, claim it, none of that. I'm just saying be prepared for it. So go ahead and dress the part. Stephanie, yes. Deborah, yes. Walk different when you dress the part. Listen, put your head up. Put a smile on your face. Dress the part. Go in winning, people. Go in winning. All right, y'all. Tomorrow is Wednesday Wisdom. We're going to have a workshop component to that. Again, this is probably workshop today. But this is what we're doing. We want to prepare you for voting. We want to prepare you for voting. So y'all know what I say. Stay well, everyone. And remember to make some bold moves and dress the part. We're out.
motion, motion.